I am Alvina Damayanti, a student from the University of Technocrat, Indonesia. I am from Bandar Lampung and currently undergoing a learning process that I hope will bring me closer to my big goal, to become a successful entrepreneur. I made this video not only as a self-introduction, but also as a reflection of my life journey, struggle, and hope in the future. I was born and raised in Bandar Lampung, in a simple family environment. From childhood, I was taught the importance of education, hard work, and honesty. I am used to doing everything responsibly and trying to give my best, whatever the circumstances. These values that to this day I hold dear in every aspect of my life. I studied at Vocational High School 7 Bandar Lampung. This is where I first got to know the world of accounting in more depth. At first, I chose the accounting major because of rational considerations. However, over time, I actually found that I had a natural interest and talent in this field, especially in terms of precision and logic of numbers. I learned to understand how numbers are not just numbers. They are a reflection of real financial activities and conditions. After graduating from vocational school, I decided to continue my education at the University of Technocrat, Indonesia, a campus known for excellence and discipline. During college, I not only learned theory, but also enriched myself with real practice in accounting, from financial statement making, internal auditing, to tax management. I was also active in several campus activities, which helped me hone my communication skills, teamwork, and time management. For me, higher education is just about a degree. It's about forming a mature and responsible mindset. One of my main strengths is the ability to calculate carefully. In accounting, the slightest mistake can have a big impact. Therefore, I always try to maintain accuracy and pay attention to details. In addition, I also began to develop the ability to use accounting software such as Excel, accurate to basic data analysis tools. Another ability I continue to train is to think critically, work with deadlines, and stay calm under pressure. I have always been inspired by successful figures from below, especially entrepreneurs who build businesses from scratch. For me, being an entrepreneur is not just about money. More than that, I want to create a positive impact, create jobs, and build something that can last long term. Education for me is not just about grades or diplomas. Education is a window that opens my horizons, broadens my thinking horizons, and changes my perspective on the world and the future. From primary school to today's college, I realized that education is not a shortcut to success, but a long process to shape one's character, mentality, and integrity. I once felt small and full of doubts. I asked myself, am I capable enough to compete? Can I succeed even if I come from a mediocre family? But day by day, I began to discover that the answer to that question lay not in my origins, but in how much I was willing to learn, struggle, and grow. Every lesson I've attended, every teacher who has guided me, even every mistake I've ever made, it's all part of my self-building process. I believe that true education happens when we are able to turn the way we see problems into opportunities and make failure a foothold to go higher. I learned that it is not enough to be intelligent. What is more important is to be a person who is constantly willing to learn, who is not easy to give up, and who remains humble in achievement. At the University of Technocrats in Indonesia, I felt I was in an environment that pushed me to be the best version of myself. The disciplined campus environment, caring lecturers, and inspiring comrades in arms all fuel my passion. This is where I really feel that success does not belong to those who are the smartest, but to those who are the most consistent, the most persistent, and the bravest out of the comfort zone. For me, every assignment, presentation, and challenging college is not just an academic obligation, but a life exercise. Exercise to be responsible, independent, and able to deal with pressure. Because at the end of the day, life off campus is much more complex, and I want to prepare myself as well as possible for that, starting now. I still remember one moment while attending a project presentation. On campus, a simple experience, but deeply imprinted in my memory. At that time, I was extremely nervous. My hands were cold, my voice was shaking, and my mind was filled with fear. What if I am wrong? What if I am not able to answer the questions of lecturers or friends? I even thought about giving up before standing in front, but somehow I keep going. I stood in front of the class, opened the presentation, and started talking. The first sentence came out doubtfully but slowly. I began to find the rhythm. I explained my idea, relayed the data, and answered the question with what I knew. And as I closed the presentation, I smiled because for the first time, I realized that I was capable. It turned out that my fear was not because I could not, but because I had never really tried. I realized that many of the things I feared were actually only shadows that grew from doubts within myself. That moment changed my perspective slowly, but profoundly. From then on, I began to open up to more opportunities. I joined a small organization, followed class discussions more actively, and began to get used to expressing opinions. It's not always easy. Sometimes I still feel nervous or hesitant, but I keep trying. I believe that every small step we take today, no matter how small, will bring us closer to the best version of ourselves. And small steps that are done constantly will form a big road, the road to dreams that have been far away. I believe that accounting science will be an important provision for me in realizing that vision. My goal is to become a successful entrepreneur in a field that I love. I am considering some business ideas, such as digital financial products, locally based SMS, or accounting training services for students. I know that this journey will be long, challenging, and requires courage and consistency. However, I am ready to learn from the bottom. I believe that true success comes from the process of being honest and constantly learning. In the short term, I want to finish college with the best results, build a wide network, and deepen technical skills and soft skills. I would also like to start an internship or work part-time in a finance company to gain field experience. For the long term, I want to open my own business, form a solid team, and run a business that has a social mission. I want to build a company that is not only financially successful, but also has integrity and public trust. To my friends who are also studying, I would like to share a message. Never be afraid to dream big, even if you are still a child. Every step you take today, no matter how small, is part of a big process in your life. We may come from different backgrounds, but we all have the opportunity to change and evolve. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Hopefully my story can provide inspiration and passion for anyone who is struggling to pursue their dreams. If you want to network or exchange ideas, please contact me via Instagram at Elvina_Minty. I am open to discussing, sharing ideas, or learning together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can continue to share other trips. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.